And we're recording.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Anna Yackel, Membership Coordinator here at IHLS. And I see that we have a very large crowd today, and I'm very happy to see that. Without much ado, I will turn it over to Christine Cheng from the Illinois Secure, I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's going to be talking about the statewide retirement plan aimed at small businesses. And she's going to share information that we can all share with our community and maybe give us an entryway into that community and a way to figure out what other programs and services we might provide the businesses in our community to help develop more community support for us too. So I'm going to turn it over to Christine now.
All right. Yes, thank you so much, Anna. Let me start sharing my screen so you can see some of this information. And as a note, you will receive a copy of this deck afterwards for reference. There's going to be a lot of information, but really the objective here is to kind of create a space in your mind for what Illinois Secure Choice is in the event that you may have patrons that are coming in maybe with questions about the program. Perhaps they've received a letter or something like that. So it's just to sort of create a little bit more awareness about this program, not that you need to know the ins and outs and all the details. You will have this deck as a reference, as well a one-pager that is helpful in case you have patrons asking about the program. So good morning. My name is Christine Cheng. I am with the Illinois State Treasurer's Office. And again, I want to provide you an overview of the Illinois Secure Choice Retirement Savings Program. So kind of to start with, I just want to paint a quick picture of why this program exists. And it really is meant to help address a looming retirement crisis that we face nationwide, but also, of course, within the state of Illinois. You know, the issue is that we have too many people who have too little saved for retirement. And there are a lot of stats out there related to the lack of retirement preparedness. One that I'll share today is that nearly half of working age families have nothing at all saved in their retirement accounts. And while we know that workers are 15 times more likely to save if they can do so at work through payroll deduction, we also know that 40% of our private sector businesses in the state aren't offering a workplace retirement plan. And if you really look at that gap in terms of access to a workplace retirement savings plan, it really grows as the size of the business goes down. You see more of an access gap with workers with lower wages, workers of color, female workers. So there really are a lot of reasons that we need to address this crisis, both on an individual level. It's not a good outcome if a worker reaches the end of their career and really doesn't have enough to subsist on. And then kind of on a macro level for the state, it's a lot of strain that goes onto the public social safety net when those retirees reach retirement without sufficient financial resources. And then again, there is an equity issue here too. So what is Illinois Secure Choice? This is a retirement savings program that is meant to be an easy way for workers to save while being simple for employers to facilitate. So the program is facilitated by the state of Illinois and administered by a private financial services firm called Ihls. So the main kind of thrust of what this program is, it's a way for employees to save a portion of their pay into an individual retirement account or an IRA through payroll deduction that's facilitated by their employer. So a few other kind of key attributes of the program: participation is voluntary. So an employee can choose to get out of the program or come back into it. They can control what percentage they're saving at, what exact investment fund they want to use. The program does use automatic enrollment as a best practice taken from the 401k space. But again, that saver is able to control any aspect of their participation or non-participation. They can opt out at any point. The board, there's a 7-member public board that helps to govern the program. The board is chaired by the Illinois State Treasurer, which is where our office comes into play in terms of helping with program implementation. The board was very deliberate in the way they designed this program, and they made it deliberately very simple for that saver, that if they want to just sort of come in and stick with the default options, which I'll talk about in a moment here, they can do so in sort of a set it and forget it manner. A lot of our savers in the program have preferred a sort of a very passive level of engagement. sort of I know I'm saving in the background. I don't have to focus a lot of my active attention on that. That's been kind of their preferred mode in some cases. The other thing to note here is that because the vehicle of savings is an individual retirement account, that savings account belongs to the saver. It is not attached to their employer. And this is important because a lot of the savers in our program work multiple jobs at once in certain circumstances, or they're moving from job to job. This account will always remain with them because it is their account. And then the other thing is, in terms of the fees, there's just a low fee for program administration, which is similar to other types of investment programs. Now, who is this program for? On the employee side, there really are just three main criteria. Number one, that the worker has wages that are applicable to Illinois. So it does not matter where the employee lives, it just matters, are they being paid Illinois wages? Number two, that they're age 18 or older. And number three, that they have a social security number or an individual taxpayer identification number, also known as an ITIN. What also does not matter is the degree to which they work for that employer. If they're a full-time, part-time, seasonal, temporary worker, what matters are those three criteria. Now, on the employer end of things, in terms of who is covered by the state law that animates the Illinois Secure Choice Retirement Savings Program, it's employers who meet the following criteria. Number one, they're not already offering their own qualified retirement plan. Number two, they have 5 or more Illinois employees. And number three, that they've been in business for at least 2 years. Now, again, this covers employers that are non-governmental. So this would be private sector businesses as well as nonprofit organizations. Anybody who is in our universe of eligible employers has been contacted by our program directly if they have an upcoming registration deadline. So I'll talk about the deadline on the next slide. But again, you might have somebody coming in who's saying, oh, I received this letter about Illinois Secure Choice. What is this? Just so you know, this is what this is. The other thing too is in terms of what that actual action item is, it's for those eligible employers that have an upcoming deadline. They need to come onto our website, ihlsecurechoice.com, to either register for and start facilitating Illinois Secure Choice as a way for their employees to save, or if they're already offering their own qualified plan, they report an exemption. And then the last point I'll make is that, Illinois Secure Choice was not designed to replace what the private market is offering or compete with those offerings. We believe, and this would be the same if you think about it almost like consumer finance, a business should make the decision that is best for them in terms of where they are today, what their capacity is, what their objectives are. For us, the main goal is that more employers are offering their employees an easy way to save for retirement, be that through their own qualified plan, like a 403B or a 401k or something like that, or by facilitating the state program. In terms of registration deadlines, the program has been rolled out to employers in a sort of a staggered manner based on employer size. So this program launched in 2018 as the second type of program in the nation, behind Oregon in 2017. And so we started with the largest employers, and we've been working our way down in terms of employer size. So the upcoming deadline of November 1st of 2022 applies to businesses with 16 or more Illinois employees. And then next November of 23, is going to be the registration or exemption deadline for businesses with 5 or more Illinois employees. Eligible employers are welcome to join ahead of their applicable deadlines. It just gives their employees that much more time to save. A few things I want to address about what we hear most often from especially smaller business owners about what's keeping them from sponsoring their own plan. The top 3 things: number one, they don't have the capacity to handle the administrative burden of starting and facilitating their own plan. Number 2, they don't have the margins to afford the fees. And number 3, they don't have an ability or desire to shoulder fiduciary liability. The Secure Choice Board was very deliberate in the way they designed Illinois Secure Choice to really address those 3 issues. So on the first part, it's the administrative role that a facilitating employer plays in Illinois Secure Choice is meant to be very limited, very administratively light. Number 2, there are no fees to the employer. And number 3, the employer is not considered a fiduciary. The board is the one that is bearing all of the responsibility for investment policy, due diligence on investment managers, program oversight, all of those aspects. So this slide is just really saying that in terms of what the employer does do, it's really just a handful of things. Number one, register by their deadline. 2, set up their account. 3, upload and maintain their employee roster. And number 4, move payroll deductions for any of their employees who are participating and wanting to save through this channel. There's a whole list of things that employers are not on the hook for, and that includes things like paying any fees, making matching contributions, offering investment advice, things along those lines. So again, the program is designed to be simple for the employer to facilitate. Just to give you a quick overview of how the saver joins the program, once the employer has submitted their employee roster, that's when our program reaches out directly to those employees to let them know more about the program and what their options are. That kicks off a 30-day employee decision period during which an employee can do one of 3 things. Number 1, they can do nothing. They're automatically enrolled at the end of the 30 days with the default settings. 2, they can customize their account, or 3, they can opt out. And after that 30-day period, the employer is going to start to facilitate payroll deduction for employees that are participating in the program. In terms of a closer look at what an employee can do, if they choose to do nothing and they're automatically enrolled with the standard options, these are those options. The account type is a Roth IRA, Roth meaning it's funded with after-tax contributions. This is important because we understand that some of our savers will sometimes experience financial shocks wherein they may need to withdraw some of their contributions. Well, with a Roth IRA, they're able to do that without tax penalty because these are after-tax dollars. 2, the standard savings rate is 5% of gross pay. And 3, the default investment option is for the funds to go into a holding vehicle for the first 90 days to preserve capital. And then those funds are swept to a target date fund that most closely aligns to the saver's expected date of retirement. And with a target date fund, the beauty of that is the asset allocation is modified automatically as that saver gets closer and closer to their target retirement date. The mix of assets is going to become more conservative over time. Number 2, the person can choose to customize their account, and really any facet of their account can be changed, including the savings rate and the investment option. Or number 3, we understand that some employees are not interested in this, or this isn't the right time or the right vehicle for them, and so opting out is absolutely an option. And then this is just a quick look at, ways in which an employee can customize their account. So I won't dwell on this, but it's just to say there are multiple options here. And then the last slide I want to share about investment options just kind of breaks down for you what the 4 investment options are. They're meant to be a simple menu because we know too much choice can be paralyzing, but it's also meant to accommodate different investment objectives, risk tolerance, things along those lines. As you'll see on the right side, all of these investments are managed professionally by investment managers that you've likely heard of, including BlackRock, State Street, and Charles Schwab. So I just leave you with a couple of things here, just some quotes that we've been hearing from our participating employers, just to give you a sense of where we are today. This program launched in 2018. We now have over 8,000 registered employers, 110,000 savers in the program. Sorry about that. About 84 million in assets. And what we're really hearing, especially from smaller business owners these days in a tight labor market, is, Illinois, there's one employer who said it this way: Illinois Secure Choice is another arrow in the quiver of what I can offer that helps differentiate my business from others when I'm looking to attract new talent. So the final slide I want to share is just support resources. So this is maybe a key slide for you to reference if you're talking with a business owner. This is where they can get additional information and support. We do have a lot of information on our website, ihlsecurechoice.com. We do have a client services phone number and email address. That phone number is multilingual, available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. As well, we have an in-state field representative through a census, our program administrator, so you can see her contact information there. So at this point, I'll just stop and see if any questions are out there.
Christine, we do have a question. Well, we have 2 questions now. One person wanted to know, I know you have specified that this is private sector, but our libraries offer IMRF funds, programs to some of the staff, but not all of the staff. Is there any way our staff could be involved in this program?
So it's kind of a multi-part answer. So per statute, per state law, the Secure Choice Savings Program Act only applies to non-governmental entities. So there's no sort of requirement for a governmental entity to participate in this because they're sort of exempt from the whole thing. Now, the other option that I didn't go into as much is a saver can come into the program through self-enrollment. So the main mechanism for most of our 110,000 savers is their employer was covered by the state law, their employer registered. That's how the employee was enrolled in the program. But there is also a self-enrollment option. So if somebody who is not working for a mandated employer or maybe is self-employed, a gig worker, they can come into the program on their own, separate from any kind of employer. So I would say self-enrollment is an option that is available in that kind of a situation where the employer itself is not mandated and covered by the state law.
Oh, okay, great. I was kind of curious whether there was some way, because I know the gig economy is kind of a big thing, and I was
Right.
wondering if people could self-enroll. So that's good to know. And our other question is, assuming they are meant monthly statements, yes, if they want to discuss their account with someone, is that someone at the state? Also, would you have employers that interested parties could talk to about their experiences?
So, okay, right. So a couple of questions. So the state does not manage the funds, right? It's done through professional investment managers. So we would not be the resource to reach out to. We advise that savers in the program reach out to somebody who has official sort of financial advisor standing or legal and or financial advice, because we really, that's not on the employer who facilitates the payroll contributions. We really think that's up to the saver to discuss their details with somebody who's specifically looking out for their best interest and can look into the details of holistically what's going on financially in their life. I think the next question was in regards to could employers, could you actually get to that question, that part of the question again?
Yeah, basically, they are asking if employers have, if they want to talk to people, other employers who are currently in the program about their experience, is there some way that they could, like say Joe down the street is involved and they're not, but they want to talk to Joe down the street, but they didn't know Joe was, so.
Right. So we don't have a way to directly connect that, but I am happy to share a few recorded videos that we've done with employers in the program as well. And again, this is in the final slide of the deck that you all will be sharing later with participants. Jamie Ihls, who is our Illinois field representative from a census, she's the person who is out and about across the state every day, engaging with employers, answering questions, leading employee seminars, things like that. She could speak to maybe more of kind of maybe other participating employers who are maybe in the same industry or the same size or something that's akin to sort of what the employer is looking for. She can be a good resource to sort of connect experiences.
Okay, that sounds great. Are there any other questions out there? Christine was kind enough to send us her PowerPoint and a handout that I will be sharing with all of you as soon as the meeting is done. And, Christine has said, she's shared her contact information. So if you have further questions or would like to discuss anything with her, she has made herself available for that. So not seeing anything else popping up in the chat, I want to say thank you so very much, Christine. I think you've, we've all kind of heard about this and have had questions. So we really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and information with us today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Well, likewise, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I guess what we will do now is we will go on with our show. And now we're getting to the part that you guys really want to know about, the automatic materials handler. And I'm going to pass this over to Leslie Bednar, IHLS Director, and Ellen Popit, the Assistant IHLS Director and also Head of Membership. And I will turn it over to them without further ado. Ladies, take it away.
Thank you and good morning. Anna, I interrupted, so sorry. There's a third question in the chat.
Oh,
So I don't know,
okay.
maybe if you can answer it in chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Leslie, for
Oh,
pointing.
no problem. I'm like, oh no, wait, Christine's leaving.
Of course it came.
Don't turn her mic off. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Good morning, everybody. Ellen and I are here today to talk to you about a project that we've been engaged in for about 5 or 6 months, maybe. We've been really intently looking at this. And so we put together a presentation to kind of what we see as happening at today's session, like right now, is this is the beginning of a conversation. It's the beginning of a long and I hope a very full-throated conversation between all of us about, it really is, can be something that where we go next with the system in terms of innovating, especially in the area of delivery, but it also touches other parts of the organization, and it definitely touches on the share piece. So we just want to begin that conversation. We're really happy to finally be at this place. And actually, as I think Anna might have mentioned, Ellen and I are up in our hotel rooms right now in Rosemont at the ILA convention. Today's the last day. So we're just really happy that we could fit everything into today's schedule, and that also that all of you have taken the time to spend some time with us and give us your feedback, your honest feedback, because that is always appreciated. Carol Hogan Downey is with us, and she's going to monitor questions if there are any, and make sure that Ellen and I stop and answer as we go along. So thank you. So, okay. We're really excited to tell you about an innovation we're considering for the Ellen Hartland Library System, and we are inviting you to collaborate with us as we consider it. We're considering purchasing an AMH. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, we'll tell you all about it, and as well as why we are considering it, the work that we've done so far, and also how you can contribute to this process.
So here's a quick overview of our presentation today, and you can follow along more easily just knowing what to expect, we hope. First, we will explain what an AMH stands for, even for and what it is. We'll explain why we're considering it, then the next steps for us and the proposed timeline, and we'll have plenty of time for questions and discussion. This potential development would have an impact for the system and for our member libraries on how materials are sorted for delivery. And we want to let you know we're exploring this option in the work that has been done to date.
Thanks, Ellen. An automatic material handler, or an AMH, is the next innovative step in delivery to bring benefits to members, including automated sorting, efficiency and accuracy of sorting materials, cost effectiveness, and more benefits that will be explained later in this morning's presentation. Here's a video of the AMH at the Boulder Public Library.
The Boulder Public Library is a great place to get books, DVDs, and other materials to enjoy at home. Do you ever wonder what happens to your library materials when you put them in the automated book drop? First, the conveyor belt takes the items down to the sorting machine in the basement. When lots of items come down at once, they have to wait their turn. The machine turns the item so it is straight and then scans the barcode to check in the item. When the machine scans the barcode on the item, the computer tells it which cart and which shelf the item should go on. When the item gets to the right section of the conveyor belt, the machine scoots it onto the placer. The placer takes the item to the right shelf and has a sensor to find the end of the stack. The placer is supposed to slip the item smoothly onto the end of the stack. perfect, but sometimes it makes a mess instead. After a cart is full, it waits for a staff member to take it upstairs in the elevator and put the items back on the shelf.
Okay, I hope you caught some of that audio and engaging video. As you can see, this would be a step toward innovation, which is important to IHLS.
So the IHLS vision statement reads, the Illinois Heartland Library System empowers libraries to embrace innovation and collaboration. So we know that the consideration of an automatic materials handler is right there in our organization's vision statement.
So you might be asking why we're interested in this innovation and in this particular type of technology. We recognize that each innovation that we bring forward to our members should be carefully considered. And we want to stress that right now, we are only considering an AMH. We'd like to explain why we're interested in this particular type of technology. From the outset, we were interested in exploring the improvements to delivery, more eco-friendly procedures, benefits for our members, and the potential for expanded resource sharing.
Okay, for example, we know that we look at receipt printer paper. The use of receipt paper within our system currently would be greatly diminished, which affects our budgets, the environment, and our health.
You might be surprised to know that 156.3 miles of receipt paper is used yearly at the system offices.
And there's an expenditure of $3,700 on receipt paper annually. Bought in bulk, receipts cost about 0.4 to 4.5 cents per foot, an average of 0.45 cents. With 5,280 feet in a mile and 156.3 miles a year, that means around $3,700 are spent on receipts each year within the system.
And sadly, not all of the receipt paper is recyclable. In fact, a lot of that paper is not recyclable, and this is the eco-friendly part. In addition to the financial cost, the environmental and health impact, we found a 2018 study from Ann Arbor, Michigan that found that BPS or BPA can be in 93% of tested receipts. I believe that that's talking about thermal printing, and which is, I understand, not the type of printers that we have, but it does make the point that this paper in general isn't the best for all of us. It makes it difficult to compost, and in this study, they did actually test library receipts, so those were included in their study.
And we realized that an automatic materials handler could really be a significant improvement in delivery. And we can speak to the more tangible daily effects on delivery. We know that an AMH will bring benefits to members, including automated sorting, efficiency and accuracy of sorting materials, cost effectiveness, and more benefits that will be explained later in the presentation. And this potential development would have an impact for the system and for our member libraries on how materials are sorted for delivery. Efficient sorting, accurate sorting, cost effectiveness, and automation.
So with those potential improvements in mind, we did our homework. Recently, IHLS worked with consultant Greg Kronovitz on an RFI or a request for information. Specifically, we reached out to vendors, companies that make and sell AMH systems, for more information.
The goals were feasibility of trying it at Edwardsville and the likely benefits over current procedures. So we started with Edwardsville, so that could be the model for all IHLS distribution centers, and to consider the benefits to members regarding efficiency and cost effectiveness compared to current manual procedures.
Then when we worked with Greg, he helped us to examine the feasibility of an AMH specifically at the Everettsville location. That was more for the convenience of like, this is one of our areas that's easy for vendors to get to if they wanted to come for a visit. And we have basically the same setup at our Champaign hub. Obviously, Carbondale hub is set up slightly differently, but we wanted to give them access to one of our buildings if they wanted it. We also looked at the return on investment and what the savings might add up to.
So here's the process. The delivery data was reviewed. We informed known vendors about an RFI. We drafted one. We finalized and issued the RFI, met with vendors. Greg Ponovitz met with the vendors, collected vendor responses, evaluated them, and reported and recommendations. So the process was complicated. From reviewing data about delivery services to meeting with vendors to reporting recommendations, there was a lot of work.
And Ellen's going to continue and tell us what we found.
Okay. First, while the machine itself won't cost libraries anything, we did find that there will be some trade-offs. Automatic materials handlers require external barcodes or RFID. So you'll just need to put external barcode materials and adjust to your workflows to handle labelless shipping. And we know that barcode placement is a contentious issue, so we'll all need to reach a consensus and comply with the policy. We recognize that our libraries may need support in this effort, so we may need to purchase and rent or lend barcode duplication machines or provide barcode duplication at our sort sites. And we are seeking and looking and paying close attention to any grant opportunities that could help with this funding. And we'll also need to develop new policies, responsibilities, and funding for AMH management, use, maintenance, and cleaning. Of course, we could use RFID tags in lieu of barcodes, but there aren't many shared libraries using RFID currently. So it's simplest to add an external barcode on all materials put into transit. Libraries which use our RFID will still need to use barcodes for transited materials. Leslie, do you want to talk about the results?
I would love to talk about the results. And here they are. Okay. So again, there are a lot of benefits that we learned about through this RFI process. Member libraries of SHARE will benefit from the elimination of paper labels. We examined the return on investment and what cost savings we would have, and that would also be favorable. This will also benefit circulation staff in our member libraries from our understanding by improving ergonomics of barcode scanning and saving your staff time locating barcodes at the circulation desk. In addition, options may be available to include more libraries that are members of other automated library systems.
So we want to talk about the benefits to you. Share libraries won't need to use receipt paper, which makes a big financial, environmental, and health impact. Also, improved accuracy will happen for both share and standalones. The automated sorting will mean precision for share, and the lower volume of materials needed to be manually sorted will mean more accurate and effective sorting for our standalones. This is because standalones will be sorted in what they call an exception bin with improved accuracy due to less volume of items being manually sorted.
Additional.
Also, go ahead,
sorry.
Leslie. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
There are some benefits to libraries, and certainly the biggest one is time. Almost no delays caused by items being delivered to the wrong library. Quicker materials delivery after a holiday or closure, which is huge all the way around to both the library system and our libraries. And for larger libraries, returns and holds can be separated, which helps with quicker processing at the library.
You want me to take this one?
Sure.
Okay. So sorry for that faux pas. So in additional benefits to members, we see this as a convenient technology upgrade. It will provide, the software will be able to work with Polaris, the system that the majority of our members are using that are those that are members of SHARE are using that. There would also be better data tracking and more accurate statistics available. And you would also have the ability to change the status in Polaris.
Okay, and the next slide refers to our primary point today of gathering with all of you, and that is the collaboration that we want to happen through this whole process. So a multi-type ad hoc committee will be formed, and we'd like to involve all our membership in a broader discussion, as obviously we know what good comes from that kind of collaboration. We hope to form an ad hoc working group to evaluate and discuss the impact of an automatic material handler and what it would have on member libraries and the system. It would include all 4 library types, and we see this as a partnership because we want everyone to truly understand the full impact this may have on all libraries in Illinois. The working group will come up with questions for a survey that will be sent out to all member libraries regarding the implementation of an automatic materials handler at the system and where your library stands.
So here are the questions, or here's an obvious question, I think, for me, and I would hope for some of you as well. We do not, at this time, have a definitive answer regarding AMH and IHLS. But here is what we can say that we do know. If we do decide to move forward with the implementation, we will do everything we can to work with library staff who may be impacted by that decision. We won't make any decisions that lead to high costs for our members. We can assure you that any downsizing that happens in delivery of our staff will result from attrition and not layoffs. And our communications plan will help us identify what is best for our members and if this is the next step for the future.
So there's a proposed timeline that goes with this work, and it starts with beginning with the formation of the ad hoc committee this month, and then ending with an RFP possibly being posted in June of 2023. But you see on that timeline places where the ad hoc committee is going to start meeting, reviewing charges, the development of the member survey, the review of the surveys, a recommendation that the working group can share with our board. And then in April, based on board acceptance and favorable member feedback, the development of an RFP.
A few years ago, under the leadership of Susan Palmer, who is our recently retired delivery director, they developed their own model for the delivery department, and that is a strong and vibrant interlibrary loan system is like the interstate highway system of ideas. We truly believe this. We truly believe that this is what ties all of us together, us and all of our members and our staff, and this is what we are all working together to achieve. So that's the end of our slide. What we're hoping to do now is open this up for questions, and Carol's going to let us know as they appear.
So we did have one question, but it was answered. Anna answered it in the chat, which was, I assume Polaris also means LEAP, and Anna said yes.
Great. Okay, so what other questions do you have, or what other comments do you have? They don't have to be questions.
We have from Jill, Jill Pfeiffer, what is the time frame for forming the working group? When will the request go out?
So this is our first request right now at what, 10:39 on Thursday morning. We would like to have feedback from, we'll start engaging with you via our newsletter, via the website, or maybe some on the website and social media, possibly an email or two, and gather names, hopefully in the first part of November. We've got Member Day coming up where a lot of our staff are involved, and I know a lot of you will be attending. And then shortly after that, if, hopefully by then we have a sufficient number of folks that are interested, we can reach out and see when everybody would like to get together, because I'd like this group to meet a first time anyway in December. So.
All right, I'm going to pair two questions that are related enough. What is the initial cost of the AMH and how will this be paid for?
Okay, so in the RFI, one of the things that we learned from that is that, from the responses, is that vendors vary widely in terms of other additional options that they included. So we don't actually have, I don't think that we at this point have a good enough idea of what that ballpark would be. We're estimating high when we look at potentially what the return on investment would be in terms of the staffing portion, the labor portion of it, what would be saved. And then I think the second question is how, because I was going to say grants, but I don't remember. I mean, we are currently looking, considering what grants would be appropriate for this type of equipment, this type of endeavor, because there are multiple components. There are the components. There's the member piece of how can we help everyone get their, if they don't have barcodes on the outside of their items, how can we help them to do that so it's not all their staff having to carry that load. And then there's the actual physical equipment piece. So those may be different grant funding opportunities. We may find at the end of all of this discussion with the working group that the benefit that we go forward without a grant, but that would be, given where we are financially right now, I don't know that that would be the best move for us to make. I think we'd want to find some kind of some way to bring the overall cost down a little. Did I answer the question, Carol? Because
I think it answered it as well as we have an answer for it at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. All right, we have, will there be any changes necessary to our item records or material types for ease of sorting with the AMH?
I think at this time, no, but since I'm not the one I'm not Dina, I'm not Cassie, I'm not working in Troy, in Share, I think that would be a question that we would want to make sure that we share with our colleagues when we see them later on today.
Okay. We have, whom should people email? Is there a main contact at IHLS? I think that means with regards to the AMH.
Ellen, would you like to be the contact? I'm happy to be the contact too. So,
Well, I think it's a time we can share good news. And that
Okay.
is, we have a new director of facilities and delivery starting on Monday. His name is John Becker. And good for John. He's a man who likes work. So we have a list. We have already a to-do list for John. So why don't you start with me? That's fine. And eventually we'll turn this over to John.
we don't want to scare him away
Exactly.
on the first week. I mean, like, we want him to get to like us, and then guess what else there is. But he's aware.
Yeah.
He's aware that we were considering this, and he was also aware when we were interviewing that we would be reaching out to members possibly before that new person was in place. So he'll do this well. He'll do a good job.
Will the addition of an AMH result in an increase in our share fees? If so, what do you predict the increase will be?
Okay, so under the term, in the legislation that allows for library systems to take place in the administrative rules, it's really clear that delivery is the responsibility of the library system. So I see the responsibility fiscally or financially for this at the system level, meaning in the general fund, not the share fund. While yes, it directly will benefit share members because you are all automated and you collaborate together so much. This is a delivery enhancement, and delivery is solely funded or wholly contained within the general fund budget. Does that answer your question? I mean, I hope it does. I do not see share member fees increasing because of the AMH. I could be wrong, and I will admit it if I am, but I don't believe that it will impact share members in that way.
All right. Will there be, oh, wait, sorry. How many members will the ad hoc committee be made of? Just one from each library type?
So maybe 8 people, maybe 10 people. We've had experience with 2 different types of groups like this in the past. Recently, we had what the DWG, which stands for the Delivery Working Group. You might recall that that was a group that came together to talk about all things related to coronavirus and how long we had to basically hold items before we could move them on to the next stop, all of that fun stuff. Ooh, aren't we glad we're not there anymore? I think that group might have had around 14 people, and then it kind of settled down to maybe 11 at the end. But before that, we did go through something like this, and that was, okay, here's history lesson for those of you who haven't been with us for a while. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you if you've already heard this. 12 years ago, we formed a group that was affectionately known as the LSAP 4. That was one representative from each of the 4 legacy library system automated groups. So that was 4, and there was a lot of work that group did, and they worked with some of our staff, and that's exactly what we intend this to be, a staff and a member group. I don't want to limit it just to 4 because I think it really depends on everyone's interest in it, and as we learn more about it, it may change. But I'd like to leave that open and not define it right now.
We have, will there be a preferred placing for barcodes on the outside of the book or just somewhere on the outside of the book?
That's the big question, right? I don't know that we have, I don't believe we have that answer. I believe that the equipment of at least from the 4 responses we've gotten from vendors, is that they can read the barcode if it's on the top of an item or if it's on the bottom of the item. But there has not been a decision made that everybody's barcodes go here. I think that that's a conversation that will come about, and I expect naturally for it to be hotly debated. That's a great conversation to have. Where's the best place? And that should come, that conversation should happen with this committee. I'm sorry, working group.
All right, this one's a really good question. Not that the others aren't, but when you mention reducing the receipt paper, does that potentially mean libraries sending out items will not have to print anything? Everything goes into the hub for sorting. Would we then lose delivery on the go?
I don't believe we would want to lose delivery on the go because that does facilitate items getting to members faster, to patrons faster. I don't have an answer at the moment, and I don't see any of our other IT staff on this call, unless I'm not seeing you all. That could answer that question about exactly about which receipts coming into the system. So that's one we're going to put on our list of questions to answer.
Okay, I have something that just says the working group. I don't know if that was a correction to something, but I didn't know if you meant to put more in there, Jill. Okay, she said no. We have volunteers helping, this is a comment. We have volunteers helping us to move our barcodes to the outside of the books to assist with our inventory process. It has been time consuming, so I'm glad we have started this process now. That is smart. Then we have, very rarely do we have misplaced items in our tubs. Is this really an issue?
From the point of customer service, I would say yes. I don't have a number for the number of delivered items, but if you consider the hundreds of member libraries that we're going to every day, and the fact that we have human beings doing the sorting right now, a human being is only going to be as good as they can stay, energized, hydrated, and totally hyper focused. And mistakes happen with humans. So whether we like it or not, technology is often better than we are at this. What I also think is going to happen is that when Ellen talked about the exceptions, so items that are maybe where the barcode is not on the outside of the item, or it's not readable, or it goes to a member outside of share, those are still going to be hand sorted. But that means that our sorting staff, their volume of hand sorting is greatly diminished, and they will be able to, cut your workload by, 90% or something like that. So better accuracy on that end as well.
We had a comment that I accidentally skipped over. Perfectly said, Leslie, that delivery is a library system component.
Oh, good. Good.
Then we have, do we have an estimated cost for libraries if they were to switch over all barcodes, thinking the barcodes themselves, labor, etc.?
We don't have an estimated cost now. We do know that there is a, not to get too much into the weeds today, and you don't want me to get in the technology weeds, but I'll just take a little step there, if you don't mind. This equipment is called a barcode duplicator, and all it does is read a barcode, and then like you scan the barcode that's anywhere on the inside of your item, whatever the item is, it produces a label that mimics, it just gives you another barcode just like that. We've considered, the cost of purchasing those in-house and lending them out to our members. What does that look like? Could we lease that equipment from a company? I don't believe that I think the barcode cost itself is minimal. It's the labor piece. It's here's a book, I scan it, here I go. I put a new label on it. We think that that's probably the more expensive component of that. And we don't have an estimate at this time in terms of what that would cost. But I would hope that that's, again, that's more the information we need to start discussing and looking at from a member perspective, because we can tell you how long it takes us to rebarcode 100 items, but we're not you. And so we don't have patrons at the desk. We don't, have other time constraints. So we don't have that right now, but we will get it. We'll find it. I'm sure there's a way to find that out, to do a study or something.
Leslie, can I chime in for a minute?
Absolutely, please do. Yeah.
I just want to point out that we've been cognizant of a financial impact for members who are rebarcoding. And so from the very beginning, that's where we quite honestly have focused most of our grant queries about helping with this. Because Leslie Zabaduk, who's working with us as a grants consultant, has said that there's more possibility of us getting a grant to help our member libraries than us getting a grant for a single piece of equipment, because we're a government agency and all kinds of things like that. So we are very aware of the financial support for you. And if we can make that happen, we'll be very happy to do that.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So we have, do you recommend libraries Do you recommend libraries starting to move barcodes on their item now, or should they wait until the working group meets and comes up with a plan?
I think that's, again, I would suggest that libraries consider maybe with their items that are new, maybe as you process new materials, you might consider placing them on the exterior of the item. I don't know that you need to right now, because I don't think that we're at a place. Sorry, there's a vacuum in the hallway outside my door. I don't believe that. I think that we have more time, even if we consider that the timetable that we shared with you earlier on that slide of like issuing an RFP in June of 2023, issuing an RFP is still a year or more, probably more, away from getting the actual equipment in-house. So I believe that we do have time. However, if that's what your library wants to do, then please go ahead. I happen to believe personally that that's not for us to decide, that's for you to decide. Sorry to give you a non-answer.
We have an idea for the working group conversation. If libraries are required to add barcodes to the outside, can a huge group purchase be made for a clear label protectors from a specific vendor? Also, maybe a greater discount for barcodes from a barcode vendor.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we want to look at through costing all of this out and really delving deeper into this.
Yeah. Have you thought about the process for those libraries that are not automated? Non-share members, have there been communications with ISL or Rails on a joint AMH venture?
Okay, so we have considered what that impacts to Heartland members who use another automation system other than Share. We have had a conversation with the Illinois State Library, and we have not had a specific conversation with Reaching Across Illinois Library System about this. I can tell you though that about a year ago, Rails was starting the same process. They worked with the same consultant we are using, or we worked with at least for the request for information. They had member meetings. They gathered input. They were looking at an AMH as part of a total or more of a rehab of how delivery was going to function for them. I mean, they were looking at an AMH and other options that would improve efficiency as well. So AMH was part of their solution. We have not yet had a conversation with them about whether we would have a joint purchase or a joint project at this point. We've not discussed that yet.
All right. Will sorting staff be reduced or laid off over time with the reduced workload?
So we hope that it'll happen through attrition. That is our goal. However, I also recognize the fact that that may not be the case. You may know that our sorting staff are part-time staff, and you may also have noticed that we tend to have the openings that we tend to have are with our part-time staff. So as people move on to better jobs and or better opportunities, going back to school, moving somewhere else, that's how I hope that this process works out. However, because life is never perfect, we will work with any staff member that would be impacted potentially to help them in looking for new jobs and getting their resumes together to make sure that when they separate from employment from IHLS, if that's what happens, that they are in the best possible place to move forward with their career.
Comment, the financial impact is my biggest concern. TPL can afford it, but many small libraries would use their entire budget to do this project.
Okay, so again, we don't know exactly what the budget is what the cost is going to be for this. And we are very concerned, and as a library system, of which the majority of our members are considered small by national standards, we don't intend to burden any member with this. That's not the point. Is to help our members to avoid the cost of this. So all of this is to help our members I mean, there are other projects that we've had in the past where we've sent out groups of staff or groups of contracted librarians that go and work at member library sites to take that cost for members way down. So that's what we're hoping is going to happen with this as well. We just don't have enough information at this time to say we're going to have, part 1 is this, part 2 is this, part 3 is this, in terms of assisting members. And so we will do everything we can to eliminate the dollar cost. Will it be a change to your workflow? Probably. It probably will be a change to your workflow. So that's a cost to members. If you look at it that way, a cost of learning a new way of of operating slightly where it comes to moving items through delivery and back. But the other cost, we don't want to put that on anyone's shoulders if we can avoid it.
We have a comment. Thank you, Ellen. We have a huge collection, 225,000 plus items, and this is going to be very time consuming. We have, would it be out of line to simply cut the barcode from inside if possible and tape it to the front of the item?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they come off of the item very easily. Once they're adhered, they're kind of stuck. So you may be damaging your, if I'm understanding the question correctly, you may be damaging your item to be able to replace that barcode.
We have, what do barcode duplicators cost? What brand do you recommend?
So I don't know the name of the brand, but I know we were talking about it with the consultant and he said, X company, I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name. They're about $1,000 a piece. So that's why we would like to be the ones that purchase that equipment or lease that equipment and make it available to our members to keep you from having that cost.
Comment, bring back the barcoding SWAT teams.
Yes. Yeah, well, whoever made that, thank you. Jill. You were around for a long time like I've been. So that's exactly what we were thinking about is whether we have a rebarcoding SWAT team, basically. Duplicate barcoding SWAT team, to be specific.
We have, this question may not be able to be answered just yet, but it could be a question for the working group to ask vendors. Are any of these handlers equipped with software that could help us with IPLAR? Are they equipped with software that could help us with IPLAR stats? When we are sorting, are they able to keep stats on how many items are sent to each library during the year, etc.?
I would think that it would, but I don't know what the mechanics are behind that. And since it's tied to Polaris, and I know that our administrative staff that work behind the scenes for Share do a lot of help, have a lot of canned reports ready for folks to help with your IPLAR. I would imagine it would be feeding right into that somehow through the magic of technology.
We have a comment, member libraries. Think about all of the conversation about tape on books that won't happen anymore, and the removal of sticky residue from the receipt tape that won't be necessary. Lots of small benefits top the benefit, the larger one, on top of the benefit, the larger one regarding the efficiency of sorting this will bring. And we don't have any more yet. Anybody else?
So assuming that we don't, but I'm open to having more. Again, I super appreciate you giving us your time today and listening to us and engaging with us about this. We are the strongest organization we can be when we work collaboratively and we work together. So that's what we've been for 11 years. That's how we've operated. That's been our outlook, and that's going to continue to be our outlook. So we've done amazing things together as a group of individuals in Central and Southern Illinois, and we're going to continue to do that. So if that's the AMH, we're going to walk through this door together, all of us, and we will do everything we can on our end to be as clear and concise in our communications as possible. And if there's ever something that you don't understand, like today, just keep asking us, keep sending us questions. I believe that when you may also know that we're working on our website, it's getting an update or a refresh, and it will be live soon. On our updated website, there will be an area dedicated just to this, where we see, at least right today, that will be where we will park a lot of information with members. so that, and we've had suggestions from some of you I know already in the last week or so about other ways to reach out to members to make sure that everybody has all the information available, whether they have the time to read it or, because I know you're all busy is another story, but we want to give all of that to you and allow you to stay up to date with us as much as possible. So we're planning on parking that on the website, and you will be hearing about this again. Will you hear about it like till you're tired of hearing about it? Maybe, or maybe not. It just depends on how interested you are in the technology and how excited you are about the possibility of change that will improve everything for us in the way we serve you. But we do definitely intend and commit to sharing that with you as always. Are there more questions?
Suggestion and a few comments. We have, I realize volunteers may be hard to come by, but have a barcoding party. And we have, thank you for the information, very much appreciated. Thank you, Ellen and Leslie, for engaging members. Innovating keeps Illinois Heartland Library System moving forward. And on the website note, I want to congratulate whoever is responsible for the updated wording on the website pages, such as non-resident card site and the $3 bib option. Super helpful to us librarians. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
It's nice to hear. I don't see anything else. Sorry.
All right. I think what's planned next is just updates from the system. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So besides for this, is there anything you would like to tell us, Leslie, about what's happening at IHLS, especially that annual meeting that's coming up?
Yes. Thanks, Anna, for reminding me. So something I sound so old. I feel so old. We used to do back in the day was have an annual meeting to celebrate our successes and would be an opportunity for members to come together. We've not been able to do that, obviously, with everyone taking precautions to stay healthy and safe. And I know it's the impact on all of you has just got to be tremendous of the pandemic. We have scheduled our annual meeting for next Tuesday. It will be in our Champaign. It'll be hosted by our Champaign hub because we have 3 hubs, Champaign. No, I'm sorry. It'll be hosted in Carbondale. Everybody in Champaign's like, no. This wasn't scripted. Sorry. It's hosted at the Carbondale hub because it's Carbondale's turn to have one. And we'd like to kind of go through our offices like we did, once at Carbondale, once at Champaign, once at Eversole, then we start again at Carbondale. Again, it's at Carbondale. It's next Tuesday. Anna will send out information to you. If you haven't seen it yet and you'd like to register, it's still not too late to register because we want to make sure that food count is as accurate as possible. It starts at 3 in the afternoon, and we have 2 presentations planned. We have Representative Patrick Windhorst. Thank you. I don't remember what his district is, but he's near the metropolis area, I believe. He's an Illinois representative. He's going to talk first. And then the next presenter is Anna Yackel, who's going to be talking about, I believe, different grant funding or financial opportunities for members. And then food helps everything go better. And so we've got some light food ordered for that. And then it will also be followed by our board meeting because it's on our board meeting day. It's the 4th Tuesday of the month. So hope to see you. And that's all I have, Anna. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I also want to add that Leah Gregory will also be helping me do the presentation on how to find grants and other unusual sources to find grants too. So I think that'll be a good presentation. So if you want to come to Carbondale and see lovely Southern Illinois at this time of the year where some of the trees are changing and our offices are very nice and we welcome everyone. Now I'm going to ask Delivery if they have anything they would like to share with us. I saw Linda Cates. I'm not sure who's doing a update for Delivery.
Anna, it's Ellen. We might not have an update for Delivery unless Linda or Angela or anybody in Delivery wants to add something. I think we're all just really looking forward to John starting on Monday.
Yeah, I know I'm excited. It'll be nice to have another coworker, and he's got a long history of working with nonprofits, and so I think he'll bring a lot to the table. I'm very excited. And I'm going to ask Jennifer to give us an update about Share.
Thanks, Anna. And I apologize for any baby sniffles you might hear in the background. We have a sick child at home today. So for Share, the McNaughton book leasing program is still available for libraries starting in January. If you're considering participating and want to try it out for a 6-month contract, you can find all the details on our website, or you can contact Cassandra Thompson. And we did get a wonderful quote from one of our member libraries who has participated. We are very happy with the program, and it came at just the right time for us. The McNaughton book leasing program helps us fill out the fiction collection, and my processing staff loves that the books come to us pretty much shelf ready. If you do have any questions, like I said, contact Cassandra. We have also been working with Polaris and AT&T to resolve the technical issues regarding text notifications and think we have found a solution. If you're still experiencing any issues, please contact Dina Porter. We have been evaluating a new discovery layer for patrons to better access information, including e-resources that are not currently available in our existing OPAC. Our Share Circulation and Resource Sharing Committee has determined that Aspen by Bywater Solutions would be the best fit for our consortium, but we would like to get some member feedback. We'll be setting up member demos, but Bywater Solutions will be available at IHLS Member Day coming up in November. If you want an opportunity for a sneak peek, please stop by their virtual booth to learn more. IT is asking that we delay any updates to Windows 11 while we work on a more permanent fix to our remote desktop access to Polaris. This only affects Windows 11, not Windows 10 or Windows 7. And then lastly, the Share membership meeting is scheduled for January 12th at 2 p.m. Please keep an eye out on L2 to register. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Next, I'm going to ask Carol and Shandy if they have any updates from marketing and communications.
Thanks. So I don't think Shandy's here, but she's at ILA. So one thing that we're working on right now is our Freedom to Read campaign. If you're at ILA or you've been there, you may have seen our lovely little stickers. I have some on my water bottle if you can even, well, you can't really quite see them, but that says free to read, free to grow. And this says, I support the freedom to read. And so we're passing those out for free. We also are going to be doing a radio spot, and this is all to kind of help the larger community understand that, things like book challenges and censorship, like those are people trying to restrict other people's freedom to read or freedom of expression. And so we're trying to work on that. Also, on the note of censorship and book challenges and material challenges, programming challenges, if you have an incident and you expect that even local press will be contacting you, please reach out to us, me or to Shandy, so we can work with you on your PR. This is obviously not a requirement, but I mean, if you want help with your PR, we are happy to work with you on that. I do have talking points about book challenges and programming challenges to share with you if you want them. And also, finally, I love, when you share with us what you're doing. If you have a cool program or whatever, we're really excited to amplify you on social media and the newsletter. So those of you who've done it, keep doing it. And if you haven't yet, please reach out. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Ellen, I don't know if you want to cover anything for membership.
Well, let's make one more plug for Member Day. Registration's still open. Our registration this year is very robust, so we're really excited about it. If you haven't registered, please do so. Most of the sessions will be recorded for later viewing for the people who have registered, so that's always an option. You don't have to spend the whole day with us. You can spend part of a day with us. Because we've put together this selection of programming, we really want it to reach as many of our members as we can. So that's what Anna and I and Leah and Shandy and Carol and John and Troy and many of us will be working at for the next couple of weeks. And then we kind of coast into the holidays. And then when we come back January 3rd, we'll be looking at the start of the library certification for 2023. So please stay tuned, pay attention to what comes across in the newsletters, and don't forget, we're always here if you need anything at all. Anna or Leah, have I forgotten anything?
I think you've covered a lot of what's keeping us busy these days. I did just want to add that, of course, in November, Member Day will take the place of Members Matter. But on the following month, December, we are going to have a program on L2, and hopefully Brian Shepard from Rails will come and talk to us about some of an overview and some of the intricacies, updates, all of those kind of things for L2. So, all those things that baffle and challenge us, hopefully he'll be able to address. So I hope all of you will be able to attend that program. And then in April, January, time flies, but not quite that fast. In January, we will be having a Members Matter regarding the value of being an ILA member and networking with larger groups to, build your career and give you new ideas to serve your community and all of those kind of things. So those are kind of some of the things to look forward to in the coming months. I think that's it. Leah, did you have something? I thought I saw you pop up. Is there something you'd like to add, Leah?
No, I was just shaking my head at Ellen that she hadn't forgotten anything. So and then I realized she couldn't see me, so I put my camera on for a moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've done that.
Sorry, I wanted to amplify this question from the chat. Sorry, I have a dog whining. Is it possible to take this recording and edit it down to the AMH discussion and send it out to all directors? I think there might be a lot of conversation that happens after this meeting, and watching the recording of the discussion would be very helpful and answer many questions.
Is
So
that a
that's
John question?
I think so.
I was just posting in our discussion chat whether that was something you wanted me to do or not. I
Sounds
can do it. It's
great.
not a problem if you wanted.
If that would help, that would be great. Thank you. And he
Okay,
might be able to edit out the guffaws on mine. Slash all that chat. Yeah.
Okay. If anyone would like to share any information besides what's been covered here, please post in the chat. I'll give you a few moments, and if I don't see anything, we will go ahead and end this and let everyone have some extra time in their day. So I appreciate everyone who's at ILA joining us, Leslie and Ellen and Carol. I'm not sure where you're at, but it's very nice of you to take the time to participate in this morning's Members Matter and share all this very useful information.
Thank you, Anna, for putting this together and keeping this going. We super
Okay,
appreciate
thank you.
it.
Okay, I think that's it. I am planning on sharing a list after after today's meeting, I'm going to share all of the information I got from Christine Cheng. We'll work on creating a video of just the AMH stuff that you can share with your boards, because they may have questions with other directors as well. And I will also share information about the annual meeting, and I will also share information about Member Day, how to register in case you haven't done that yet, and also the upcoming future member matters too. So it'll be a long message, but it'll have all of the information you might be interested in after this meeting. Okay, thank you for joining us. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this lovely fall weather, and we'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.